Dear brothers and sisters, I went to a new mission trip and today I am in the airport of Singapore. I spent here almost all day, so more than 7 hours. And I'm going to somewhere else. Today I won't tell you where I'm going, that will be my next video. Today I want to tell you about Singapore church-wise. Because the development of this mission here was very recent, and I saw how it came from nothing to what it is now. Because now the Singapore is the center of the big metropolia or metropolitanate of Singapore and the whole Southeast Asia and even East Asia, partly Korea, and also some countries of the Oceania. So it's a big area that's covering many countries, and now it broke up into 4 dioceses, which is even better because now we have 4 bishops. And well, it's supposed to be 4, but now it's more complicated than that. It's important to say that it is very good to have a bishop who will be developing a mission somewhere. Okay, if you are far away, okay, your bishop in, say, in Moscow, okay, like us in Taiwan, it's very far away. And it's quite difficult to communicate on a regular basis, to receive all this care and support from a bishop. So it was our hope that one day in this Asian region, in this Southeast Asia, many countries, there will be a diocese of the Russian Orthodox Church. Because the Russian Orthodox Church used to have outside of the former Soviet Union, okay, outside of that boundaries, it used to have only 8 dioceses, and all of them were in Europe and in the Americas. There was nothing in Asia. And it was quite strange because Russia is a big country and it has a big presence in the Asian part of the continent, but it doesn't have any diocese in Asia. So that made it very difficult to develop the mission, and it's even much bigger need for the mission in this area than, say, in Europe or in the United States. So that was our dream for many years to have the diocese here. So let me tell you a little bit how this all came about. Myself, I came to this region, I came to Hong Kong in 2004, so it's almost 20 years. And at that time there was, of course, no diocese, and here in Singapore there was nothing. Okay, there was nothing Orthodox, as far as I know. Not even Russian, not even any Orthodox church was in Singapore. But very soon, well, more than 10 years now, there was a community established here in Singapore, and that community were just very few faithful, something similar to what we have in Taiwan. And that community grew. It was Bishop, at that time he was Bishop Sergei of Solnechnogorsk. He was responsible for this community. It was his initiative to develop this community here. And he also established 2 communities in Malaysia at that time. For quite a few years there was nothing more. It was quite small and simple, and they gathered in some very basic place, something like a garage, okay, which was made a church. So it was quite difficult for quite a few years. But with the Lord's help, it grew to a much bigger project. Okay, and let me tell you how that happened. Okay, so that it's just it's the history, the miracle of the world, of the Lord that is working in our times. This happened like that. In 2013, we began mission in the Philippines. I was sent to the Philippines to deliver some help after the typhoon Yolanda, very big typhoon, and very soon we had that big mission. Many people willing to become Orthodox. It was about 3,000 people, and I was in charge of that project because Taiwan was very close. At the time there was no diocese, so it was very, very difficult to develop any mission in this region. After developing that mission, maybe about 2 years have passed. Somewhere around 2015, I believe, Bishop Sergei was sent to the Philippines for a mission, for a delegation. It was a visit that he can see people, that he can bring them blessing from Patriarch. And at that time we had lunch in one of those villages, and he told me that it is planned to have a diocese in this region, because there is a big need for that. Many communities, they're scattered, okay, they lack coordination, they lack care, support, so they need these structures, church structures, so that they can be united and running smoothly. So he told me, and he shared with me his view that it should be Singapore, the center for this diocese. And soon after that, maybe 1 or 2 years, I think it was 12, 16, there was a structure formed called Administration of the Patriarchal Parishes in Southeast Asia. So all those parishes, not including Taiwan. Okay, Taiwan, China, that area is not under this diocese for some reasons. Okay. But everything else, all other parishes, Thailand, Philippines, everything else, Vietnam, all of that was united under that structure, under the new, it was like a secretariat, like a small administrative structure to take care of these parishes. That was in 2016. And 2 years later, in the end of 2018, eventually this diocese was established. Okay, this diocese, official diocese of Singapore and whole Southeast Asia was established. And at that time, Metropolitan Sergei, he became the head of this diocese, and then it was growing, and everything was set in place to develop the mission further. And this diocese grew. So, well, at that time also one interesting thing that one of the reasoning why open this diocese was the conversion of the people in the Philippines. Because now there were so many locals who live in this region who are willing to have the mission of the Russian Church in this region. They were applying for that, and since it's many and it's locals, and even some of them want to become priests, the church decided to establish this diocese. Okay, so our Philippine mission contributed to establishing this great big metropolitanate of Singapore. So later, well, I think it was 2019, maybe. This diocese grew to become metropolitanate and was split into 4 dioceses. which would have more bishops, a greater administrative support to all these countries, to all the Orthodox communities in these countries. And which four? Okay, the one that had the center remained in the Singapore was responsible also for Indonesia and Malaysia. Okay, another one was responsible for the Philippines and Vietnam. The center was in Manila. Another one became responsible for Thailand and all those countries near Thailand, including Laos, Cambodia, Myanmar. So that was the third one, and the last one was Korea. Okay, so that was a really big development. Okay, all of a sudden we have the structure, we have all this support of the bishops, and that was a great blessing. And 2 years ago, in 2020, during the sickness, okay, which is the breakout that happened, at that time there was also a big development, because my trips to East Timor and to Papua New Guinea they brought fruit. Many people there converted, and this was honored by the church, and the church has included those two countries into this big metropolitanate of Southeast Asia. So this it went out of the Southeast Asia into Oceania. So that's another frontier that was open. So now it became even bigger. So we are thankful to the Lord that now we have here in Singapore, even though I'm not now part of this mission, I'm going to another country which is not part of this mission, but still I feel very good to be here, to see that it's developing, and to see that there are fruits of this mission that we do. Also, Singapore, of course, it's an economic center, so it's very convenient to fly anywhere you want. Even in East Timor, you can fly direct. This airport where I'm at right now, it's very convenient, has flights going everywhere, and also it's a very good place for bringing together the East and the West. Okay, so this meeting place creates for the church also a great opportunity to bring the message, to bring the testimony to all the people who live in this big, vast region of Southeast Asia, Oceania, Asia, and everywhere else. So please pray for these missions here, and we will meet again soon. I also need your prayers that my mission trip can be successful. May the Lord give you blessing. Amen.